Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Randomize and this is going to be the start of the next Pokemon challenge that I do on my channel. So obviously we are here at the start of Pokemon Fire Red, the first of the generation remakes that we have seen produced by the Pokemon Company. Essentially, you know, taking taking Pokemon Red and then remastering it, recreating it, I should say, for the next generation of handheld consoles. In this case, for the Game Boy Advance. And so essentially, we're obviously been going through Gen 3 recently, doing lots of I've been playing, I obviously did Sapphire, and I've done a couple of hacks of Gen 3, and I'm going to continue with Gen 3, but I wanted to do something slightly different, so I thought I'd come into this, which I sort of, you could consider it as almost like, Generation 3.5-ish, or, it's very much similar. It's not the same as Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, but it is, it's certainly not distinct, not an entirely different generation as a whole, because it's just the remakes. And so essentially we're going to play through Pokemon Fire Red. And so some other things, I just want to apologise for not uploading Pokemon videos quite as sort of had a big gap since not quite finishing off Flora Sky, but since finishing off the Elite Four of Flora Sky. Essentially, yeah, there's just been other stuff going on, and haven't really had the time to record and stuff like that. But it's just like just stuff within my life. But anyway, so now there's something else that you're probably wondering, and that is what on earth this playthrough is. So I'm calling this a pure type. So essentially, I've been doing monotypes of various different types of all the sorts of usually of hacks of various generations, but I've been doing several monotypes through the generations as much as possible, and that's something I really enjoy and something that I've wanting to continue. So essentially, rather than doing Fire Red, because obviously I've already done Blue, I did Pokemon Blue way back when, and this is very similar to the game. The trainers, most of the trainers, most of the dialogue is very much the same. Stuff like this, it is very much a very faithful recreation of the game. So I decided to spice things up a little, and what we do is, this is still just plain old Fire Red. But what we're going to do is we're going to mess around by we're actually going to do a pure type of this. So a pure type is essentially, rather than just taking, we're going to call you Gary, I like Gary, but essentially, rather than taking the monotype ruling of essentially you can have a Pokemon of any type, so even if it's only a secondary type or stuff like that, so if you have a rock monotype, then you can use a Pokemon like Omastar, which is rock and water. Various things like that. A pure type is essentially you can only use pure Pokemon of that specific type. And the type we are using in this playthrough is going to be normal. So we're going to do a normal pure type. So the only Pokemon I can use are Pokemon that are pure normal types. That's all we can use. And the other thing that is going to happen is, for those of you who've been on my channel for a while and will know from various other videos that I've done, is that I like to use a large variety of different Pokemon. I do my best to mix up the teams that I use, so I'm using as many of the huge 721, I think it is, awaiting obviously the new Pokemon in the Generation 7 Pokemon to come in. But yeah, I want to use every single one of them in their own way to find out what I like about them, what I dislike about them, all this sort of stuff, and I want to, see what they're all about. So I don't want to use a Pokemon that I've previously used in another Let's Play. And for this normal monotype, that really does actually quite limit me in terms of the Pokemon I can use. Sorry, normal pure type. And what it does mean is that essentially, we're going to be zipping through the start of this game, because essentially, the start of this game we're going to be getting obviously our starter Pokemon, none of which are normal type, and then also the early Pokemon in this game, most of them we've already used, those which are pure normal type. So anyway. So what we're going to do is, we are going to be zipping through a lot of the dialogue. throughout this because, like I said, we have already had an introduction to this world to Gen, Gen 1, as it were. So it's like start to open the menu. What else? Technology is incredible. You can now store. Yeah. So unfortunately we don't have the running shoes yet, so we will be fast forwarding. But obviously you head up to go out to the thing, and Professor Oak is going to come and protect us from that. We're going to go up here, and we are going to get to choose our first Pokemon. So now I'm going to choose Squirtle. But obviously, we're not going to be able to use the Squirtle for a while. Did I really want to do that, actually? I didn't want to do that. I should have chosen Bulbasaur. Ah, it doesn't matter. No, actually, Squirtle's actually... No, Squirtle's fine. So essentially, so we're just going to zip through all of this. We'll do one tail whip. And then start tackling. Lovely, there we go now. Squirtle goes to level 6. And so we get all of the basics, you get gaining levels, getting money, all of this stuff. And so we're going to head off on our journey. So now, obviously, we have already, so Rattata obviously is the first Pokemon that we meet in the wild, and it is a Pokemon that normally, anyone else wanting to do a pure type could obviously could use Raticate. I can't because I've already, well, I'm going to say I won't is better than I can't. Essentially, because I've already used Raticate in one of my previous Pokemon Let's Plays, and as such, I've already used that Pokemon before, and I would quite like to use a different one. And Pidgey, obviously, we can't use because they are not purely Monotype. Sorry, not purely normal type. They are obviously both normal and flying type. So anyway, we're going to head into the Pokemart, who's going to give us Oak's Parcel. We're now going to be able to head back and grab our Pokedex and get some Pokeballs as well. So now, unfortunately, what this does mean is that we are not going to be able to get a team member until after Brock, and as such, we are going to essentially be zipping through all of this until we get to until we beat Brock, and then in the routes outside, so Route 4, I think it is, we can actually get our first Pokemon. So we're going to get the Pokedexes and some Pokeballs. And he's going to tell us don't to talk to his sister for a town map, which obviously we will do. And we'll get a town map. And then we'll zip back through the town. We do obviously want to continue to try and gain some levels, because we will need our Squirtle to be able to take on Brock. Wait, when do we get the run? Do you get running shoes from your mum? I'm sure we'd have running shoes by now. Oh, I need to actually turn battle animations off as well, just to speed all of this stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, this first episode is going to be relatively boring because I won't be catching a member of the team for a while. Well, hopefully I'll have it by the end of this episode, but until then, we're just going to go for a nice rush through this whole section. When do we get the running shoes? Do we not get running shoes? That's what's up. Let's keep talking to people. So yeah, so we're going to need to get through Viridian Forest, then take on Brock, all with our Squirtle. We might even get it to evolve. So yeah, so we're just going to fast through this. He's going to give us how to catch a Pokemon lesson, which we'll just speed through. He'll give us the Teachy TV, which is a new little sort of device introduced in this game, which essentially gives you various information about parts of the game that you might not otherwise be aware of. So we're going to enter Viridian Forest. Now, obviously, there are trainers in here that we generally want to avoid because we don't want to get the experience that you'd gain from them now. We want to save that for the team members that we're going to add later on. But thankfully, both of Brock's Pokemon are obviously quadruply weak to water, so we really shouldn't have any trouble taking them down. Because I believe he just has he just starts off with a Geodude and an Onix. So as long as we are not like stupidly low leveled, we should have the advantage. So you're going to have a level 9 Weedle, Weedle Bubble, does nothing, good lord. That is more, isn't it? Squirtle goes to level 10, learns Withdraw. Sometimes you can find stuff on the ground, look for stuff I dropped. I can never remember where that actually is. I didn't need to do that. Let's just run. No point in our letting our Squirtle faint. So we're going to arrive here in Pewter City. And now we can head over to the gym pretty fast. Take on so let's see how much. Okay, so that's not quite a one-hit KO, unfortunately. Close, but not quite. So Squirtle's going to go to level 12. And then we'll talk to Brock. We're gonna, yeah, so normally, obviously, I would love to have a, normally I would obviously love to have team members before now. And generally, I do my utmost to ensure I do. Additionally, you know, generally I would love to have, I always try and make sure that I have a full team of 6 by the time that we reach, by the time that it comes to getting the 5th badge, because I like, you know, ensuring that I have at least, you know, have that full team by, you know, near enough the end of the game. So there we go, we get our crit, we defeat Brock, we're going to get our first badge, we're going to get Water Gun. It would have actually been more helpful during the gym battle there. Going to get TM 39, which is Rock Tomb. He's going to tell us to go to the gym in Cerulean. And we're just going to continue to make our way around. So now, let's have a look. This is our chance, as we actually interrupted by a Professor Oak's aid. As there we go, we get the running shoes, finally. So he's going to head off and we get our running shoes. From our mum, obviously. And now, so how far through this route are we going to be able to get without doing any battles? It doesn't look like very far at all. Yeah, so we can't go by you, unfortunately. So we got Urbird, but we do have Water Gun now. So a nice 2-hit KO. Squirtle grows to level 40. I believe Evolution's at 16, but we don't really. Again, not hugely worried about that yet. There we go, lovely. So we can go behind this guy. Damn. That's not what I meant to do, obviously. Because now we have to battle her and battle the guy below. But anyway. Actually, as a... Because obviously all of this is experience that our team members could be getting rather than... Can I actually avoid battling the other guy by just resetting them? It's a Jigglypuff. There is a Jigglypuff there, and there's a very good reason why I'm interested in seeing that Jigglypuff, because obviously Jigglypuff is one of the Pokemon that I can use, and I am going to try to use. So, we arrive here, take out this guy with his Metapods and Caterpies. So, here we are, Route 4. So, we're going to see Wild Pidgey, Wild Nidoran, and Squirtle is going to evolve. Da-da-da! Wild Mankey! We forgot you could get Mankey around here. So hopefully we're going to run into a Jigglypuff relatively soon. There we go, Wild Jigglypuff. So, hopefully We're probably... Oh no, wow, look at that. Look at that. That is the beauty of... that's what Jigglypuff is going to give us. Jigglypuff actually has a pretty decent HP stat. Like, I believe it has a very high HP stat. So, whilst its defenses aren't great, it's got enough HP to usually actually hold on. Ah, really? Come on. You know you don't want to. You know you want to stay in the ball. 2, 3. There we go. We catch ourselves our first team member. A Jigglypuff, the balloon Pokemon. It captivates foes with its huge round eyes, then lulls them to sleep by singing a soothing melody. And obviously the benefit we're going to have by using Jigglypuff, and we are also going to have to use Clefairy, Clefable eventually, but the beauty of using these specific Pokemon now is that actually, because we are guaranteed to be able to get some Moonstones in Mount Moon, that means that regardless of the, we're always going to be able to actually evolve these Pokemon relatively fast, and so we're actually going to get some relatively, going to have some fully evolved Pokemon quite early on in the game, which is rather good. So now, I can't remember whether you can actually find, I obviously should be using Jigglypuff right now, but it's not particularly, it's level 7, what do you actually have? Sing and Defense Curl, so you don't actually have an offensive move. So, yeah, I can't actually train you until you actually... I can't actually only use you until you've got an offensive move. So that's... that's fine. We're going to require a lot of switch training for this Jigglypuff. But hopefully we'll also be able to find a Clefairy, and maybe Clefairy will have a better chance. I'm pretty sure that Jigglypuff can't learn Rock Tomb. If I was thinking of trying to teach it the TM that we have. But I think it can learn Water Pulse, which is... I know in the original Red and Blue you used to find Water Gun in here. I'm just trying to remember whether you can actually find Clefairy at this level. I've always thought you could, but maybe you need to actually be deeper into the cave in order to do so. Jigglypuff grows to level 8 and still does not gain an offensive move. So we can actually head down here. So we'll continue just to, yeah, again, just look for Clefairy. I know we can find, like, Paris down here, which is all well and good. Of course, not very effective. And Effect Spore takes effect. We don't want to get caught by that rocket, essentially. Be good. Just gonna heal. There we go, lovely. Oh man, didn't mean to do that. Okay, well at least our Jigglypuff is going to be able to get some experience in this battle. Jigglypuff learns Pound! There we go. Okay, Rattle. What level are you going to be? Level 11. Quick Attack does a lot. So you're now infatuated with me. You're going to be immobilized by love. Going to put you to sleep. There we go. Jigglypuff showing you how it's done. And a Zubat. Okay. So we're going to hope that you don't actually have anything too scary. Leech Life does not do a lot. We actually get the sleep. There we go. Obviously, Pound does get the same type attack boost, and our Jigglypuff thinks, ah. So soon, so soon. Okay. Well, I might need to, yeah, there might need a chance to actually go back and find where we actually where we are able to catch Clefairy, just to be sure. But we'll continue just to do this just for a little longer. Maybe 5. Yeah, we'll do say 5 more encounters in. Come on. 5 more encounters in this area. Do I actually have anything to? No, I don't. So that was 1, 2, 3. Come on, Clefairy. I know Clefairy are a rare encounter, so, you know, we can't expect to be finding them particularly easily. But normally, when I do a run through Mount Moon, normally at least once do you run into a Clefairy. Like, they're not super rare. They're not like Surskit levels of rare. It's just sort of like, you know... we don't want to go that way, just to be sure. As we see more Zubats. There we go! Wild Clefairy, this is what we want to see. So, we're going to go for the water gun. There we go, lovely. And now we go for a Pokeball. Try and catch this little Clefairy here, which also does no pound, it seems. So at least we will actually have some offensive moves on our 2 Pokemon that we now have. Clefairy, the fairy Pokemon. Its adorable appearance makes it popular as a pet. However, it is rare and difficult to find. So there we go. So we have our 2 team members. And I think we're going to call this episode to an end here. Obviously, it is a very... I appreciate that it's a short episode and not much has really happened. But, you know, we have our team members now. What we're going to be able to do in the next episode is start grinding them up on the people that... on the trainers in, like, Viridian Forest and stuff like that. Get them up to maybe level 12, 13. And then we'll go into Mount Moon. Because, obviously... we don't have the best matchup against like rock types in Mount Moon and stuff like that, so we might need to, you know, just do a little bit more grinding for that. But no, I hope you are going to continue with this series. We obviously have 2 Moonstone Evolution Pokemon that are both adorable right now, being Jigglypuff and Clefairy. I remember there was an episode of the anime where they had like a little rivalry, so hopefully I'm sure they're gonna get along in our team. We've got actually two females. We could have actually. Given I think we're also going to hope to have a Chansey, we might actually end up with a team of only female Pokemon, which would be rather cool. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I hope you will stick around for the rest of the series, as we're going to try and complete Pokemon Fire Red using only pure normal type Pokemon. I hope to see you on the next episode.